Welcome to Davos for the third cross-country World Cup sprint of the season in this first period of racing to take us up to the Christmas break. It's the turn of the speedsters today. 2 laps of this track, 650 metres each to take it up to 1.3 kilometres. And we drop straight on live coverage of the men's quarterfinals. Women's quarterfinals done and dusted, and it looks like we're going to have a really good shootout in both events today, because pretty much all of the big names there and pushing. Very good day yesterday for Norway, with Martin Jonsrud Sundby and Teresa Johaug taking the top spots, but neither of those athletes will add to their overall tally. They haven't managed to make the top 30 and qualification through to the quarters. So Heat 4 underway. Fosli in bib 2 for Norway, Halvorsen for Sweden in bib 9, Northug, Thomas, that is, for Norway in 12, and then Peter Kummel, Emil Jonsson and Sebastian Eisenlahr. That makes up our 6 for this fourth quarter-final, already through. Bransdal and Pedchukov in Heat 3, Jalai and Gro in Heat 2, and in Heat 1, the man that's setting the fast times today, Federico Pellegrino of Italy, with Starege of Poland. So those are the qualifiers so far, and this fourth heat well underway. Bib 22 of Emil Jonsson just pushing Kalle Halvorsen there. And a little bit of chicanery at the back from Sondre Torvald Fossel. He won't be happy, Fosli, with the way that he's got trapped here at the back. And the number 2 bib is going to have to gun here up the hill. This is a passing opportunity right here, and they're going to try and shut him off. This is great work from the 2 Swedes at the front, Halvorsen and Jonsson, trying to keep it nice and broad as Thomas Northug and Sondre Torvald Fosli try and get back on track, and they've managed to at least tuck themselves into a position from whence they can attack. Top 2 go through, remember, to the semi-finals, and then the 2 fastest losers from the other 2 heats. And this is going to be a very tight finish, pushing hard now. Can the Swedes hang on, or are the Norwegians going to track them down? Good effort from Halvorsen, and then it looks very like Thomas Northug got in, and that's big news. If Fosli is gone, it is a quick heat, but it's not quick enough, and he's not going to be one of the fastest losers. So Halvorsen finishing in first position, 2:19.71. It's a little under a second slower than Bransdal in the previous heat. And then Thomas Northug, bib 12, confirmed at just a 10th down in second place. Emil Jonsson is going to have to wait to see if he is one of the fastest losers. Well, that's that very, very tricky right-hander coming back into the stadium. That's what has caused so many problems for some of the athletes over the years, but it's a situation they know about. It's an area on the course that they will be prepared for, but it's already taken care of one of the winners on this year's season, Paul Goldberg, out in the qualification stage. Yeah, that's a great lunge, isn't it, from Northug. And Jonsson just a little bit sloppy with his finish there. So the green light's confirming Halvorsen and Northug through, and Jonsson with a yellow card, time pending. But you don't necessarily have to finish third, you can finish fourth, as it was demonstrated in the first heat of the women's, with Herman and Sarasoya coming through as fastest losers. 5th heat then for the men's quarter-final. Again, another very good lineup. Finn Hagen Krogh, what an athlete he is, but very fast improving Norwegian athlete. One of the faces of the future, surely. Then Johan Erin, bib number 8. Nikolai Morilov, bib 13. Roman Fogge, Switzerland, bib 18, next to his international teammate, Erwin Kaiser. Berger and Kaiser next to each other in the gate, and then finally Finn Hagen Krogh taking that inside line. Krogh been very entertaining so far this season. 24 years of age, definitely seen as one of the up-and-coming Norwegian athletes. 3rd in the sprint standings, 2nd in the overall standings, and a real chance to add today to his podium count, which stands at 6, but could move it through to maybe 3 wins overall. And leading them out, it's Edin in bib 8, and did 28 at the start. The Olympic champion, just getting through in qualification in 28th position. Rather like Kick and Randall, who's struggling for form this year. Just didn't seem to be able to find himself. And Krogh just slipping a little bit as he came up, but really giving it some on that incline. That's the only steep part of this course. And that is a golden opportunity for passing, and Krogh has taken that chance. He really has pushed hard there. So Krogh moves into top spot. Just behind him that is Hadderstad. And that's holding off the challenge of Edin. But Hadderstad been able to keep his form across these 2 laps particularly well during the course of this season. Once again, Edin moves himself back in. Well, we know what Krogh is going to do then. Tactically, I'm sure he's going to have something very similar up his sleeve by the time he reaches the incline. As we go into the second loop of this 650 metres, 650 metres. And here we go into this sharp climb. And he's pushing hard, so Krogh gallops up that hill, and Hadderstad not far behind him. I guess the only way to ski yourself out of a poor patch is to do exactly that, ski yourself out of it, and Hadderstad is pushing very hard here. Although he is taking a breather on this down section. Krogh took a lot longer. Oh dear, very slippy from Morilov. All over the place in 3rd position, just caught the back, I think, of the skis. Current lucky losers then, Kinchi and Glorsen. So we could see another big name gone with Glorsen as they come to the finish line. It's going to be the 2 Norwegians. Krogh just checking that he was going to come across the line next to Hadderstad. Hadderstad in 2nd position, and Morilov will be ruining that messy setup for the finish area. But again, coming off that very tricky descent into the tight right-hander. That none of the racers particularly enjoy that, but it's what makes the finish here in Davos so thrilling. So solid stuff from Krogh. He had his race plan. Took it easy into the first climb and then absolutely gunned it. And managed to take Hadderstad with him. Managed to burn off Edin, who was threatening towards the finish, but just couldn't get it right through the end. This is Morilov. His Bambi on ice impression, but keeping it nice and tight round that corner. It was when he just clipped the back of the skis there that he got in serious trouble. And of course, he cannot decelerate at that point. There's nowhere to go other than to try and jump yourself off to the side and get past your opponent. And looks to me like Krogh got it from Hadderstad, and it certainly looks like Morilov got it from Edin. So Morilov looking for a fastest loser berth. We will have to wait to confirm that, but for the moment, Krogh and Hadderstad through to the semi-final stage. Welcome back to Davos, and welcome back to semi-finals coverage of the women's sprint. We're on day 2 of racing for the women. Again, another solid lineup at this semi-final stage. We're going to see some fantastic racing during the course of the next 20 minutes or so as we move through and into the final stages. So the first women's semi-final. In terms of what we've seen so far today, no real surprises. The likes of Bjørgen looking very good, but Østerberg has set the fastest time so far, as she really has been pushing everybody all the way, and Østerberg moves herself into the lead in this one. So Østerberg at the moment from Heidi Weng in 3rd. And bib 7 is Stina Nilsson, qualified in 2nd position from her quarter-final. Swede. Stina settling into a nice gliding rhythm behind the pace, the terrifying pace that is being set at the moment by Østerberg. Celine Brunli, Charlotte Kalla Heidi Weng and Ulrike Sarasoya-Lilia also involved in this semi-final. As always, top two through, plus the fastest loser. And Osterberg at the moment powering this one away, but she's been a good couple of seconds faster than anybody today, so no surprise to see this happening. But this is an excellent effort from Stina Nielsen to stay with her, and I think Stina's seen her chance. If she can stay with Osterberg, then she can set herself up for that sprint finish and maybe hold off the challenge of the likes of Bib 11, Heidi Weng. Dropping back to fourth position, Celine Brunelli has finally sorted herself out. She's pushed through into third. This is going to be a fast heat. So fastest loser, I think, will come into it. Charlotte Kaller going very wide on the climb to get herself a bit of space here, but hasn't managed to pass anybody. So Osterberg hanging on. Stina Nielsen looking just a little bit tired coming down the slope and into this very tricky finishing part of the course. Now Osterberg clearly feeling in great shape because she's gone out hard in every single race today, including qualification, and clearly feels that she can just take this home from the front. No need to get involved in any shenanigans, and she's done just that. Stina Nielsen crosses the line in second, and looks like a diving effort from Celine Brunelli to get across the line. 3.58 seconds down on that 2:33.82 winning time. But if the times are anything to go on so far today, Osterberg has been so fast, and look at that, it's just stalking away from the finish area. And I think as far as Osterberg is concerned, that's just the next part of the job done. She's still got work to finish. As far as she will be concerned, a place on the top of the podium is what she needs. A little bit of issue for Brunelli. I didn't realise she'd lost a pole. Just out of range of the cameras, so Brunelli has done very well to get into third position, having skied the first, what looked like 300 metres, with a broken pole or just a single pole. But well done to Nielsen. Stayed with it there and stayed with it very well. So Osterberg and Nielsen guaranteed a place in the final, but that 2:33.78 time, that's one of the fastest of the day. Just checking back against her previous times, that is the fastest time of the day from Osterberg then. So she's definitely through, and Brunelli and Weng, I think, have got a really good chance as well of getting towed through, courtesy of a fastest loser time. Second women's semi-final to come. Osterberg and Nielsen are guaranteed a place from the first semi. As we take a look at the lineup for this second one. Fastest loser from Heat 1, Denise Herrmann, is through. Katja Wiesner in bib 12, that's at number 3. Meike Kasper Fala in bib 3, so bib number 6, Hannah Kolb. Performance from her in Sochi in the sprints. And a big cheer for the popular Slovenian Katja Wiesner. Bib 12 is Wiesner, and bib 8, Ida Ingemarsdotter. And on the inside line, wearing the red bib to indicate that she's right at the top. The sprint standings, Marit Bjørgen. So delighted, she said yesterday, to keep the young girls behind her. And I think from her point of view, that's the philosophy as she heads surely into what is the last few seasons of her illustrious career. So the 34-year-old Marit Bjørgen, the favourite for this one on the inside. See how close they can get to that Osterberg time, which really was impressive. But it's Meike Kaspersen Fala that is leading it out, bib 3. The two Norwegians are going to settle into those first two positions. And Hannah Kolb deciding to stay in the tracks. But Fala then onto the inside line ahead of this climb that really took Osterberg away from everybody on that first lap. So Fala, followed by Bjørgen. Wider line there taken from Ingemarsdotter just to keep herself out of trouble. But Kolb has matched them for that on the climb. Two Germans, two Norwegians, Sweden and Slovenia. Visnar not showing at the moment. Visnar having a good season. 3 podiums in her career, but no win as yet. It's going to be difficult today, I think, unless Österberg has an absolute shocker. So coming to the conclusion of this opening lap. A very solid ski so far from Faller. Bjørgen just keeping something in the tank with Kolb in 3rd position. But I do like the way they've constructed this. Rather than top 3 going through, there is no room for resting. You can't rest on your laurels in these heats. You have to be very careful to guarantee yourself a top 2 spot. Bjørgen round the outside takes over the pace from Faller. I hesitate to say it, but Faller looked a little sluggish coming into that climb, but she's picked it up now. Kolb, then Ingmarsdotter. So Norway, Germany, Sweden, and Ingmarsdotter dropping off the pace now as Denise Herrmann starts to pick it up. Herrmann had an excellent race. Österberg's first heat of the quarterfinals, so she's had quite a time to rest ahead of this semi. Current lucky losers then. Celine Brunli 2:37.3 is the fastest of the lucky losers times. It's going to be comfortable for Bjørgen and Faller in this second semi-final, and pushing all the way to the line. That is bib 10 of Denise Herrmann. And Herrmann produces another fast finish. So Faller and Bjørgen guaranteed a slot along with Østberg and Nielsen. 3 Norwegians through to the final. And then we're going to have to wait and see if Celine Brunli's time is going to be good enough alongside Heidi Weng. And just looking at the time differences there, I think they're going to sneak in. Excellent racing, enjoyable racing, but racing at the moment without incident. Good pass from Bjørgen, and then some excellent stuff from Herrmann just to stay on the case, but it's not going to be enough. Herrmann and Kolb it was that raced it into 3rd and 4th in that second semi-final, but it's confirmed Celine Brunli and Heidi Weng are going to go through into the final as the fastest losers. So that's your final lineup, and that'll be coming up after the men's semi-finals. That's up next. So into the men's semi-finals. Erik Bransdal flying the flag at the moment at the top of the sprint standings for Norway. Fastest man of the day, though, is this man, Federico Pellegrino of Italy, goes in bib 1. 2:19 in the quarters, but he set 2:17.60. He was flying in the qualifiers. Number 7, Marti Jelai. Martia Starega. Poland, bib 11. Bib 24, Baptiste Gros. Just getting himself fired up for France. Men's semi-final 1 then. Gros can exploit that inside position. How hard is he going to have to go here into that first climb? As they come out of that start area, then it's that little shift in towards the climb, and Gros has done well, pushed himself into the front, but it's the World Cup leader in the red bib, Bransdal, getting himself out to the front. Marti Jelai just behind him. So Norway, in fact it's, apologies by the looks of it, just behind him. Right at the back at the moment. So not a great start from him, but all solid so far from Bransdal. Bransdal into a very nice position. So Bransdal ahead of Gluersen. Again, Norway just shutting things off right out there in front. Very, very carefully round that tricky area into the finish zone. Pellegrino keeping his powder dry at the moment in third position, and just putting some pressure on from the outside. It is the 24 bib of Gros, but Gros has rather been shut off there by Pellegrino, has come right across to give himself a little bit of breathing space against the two Norwegians, hoping that he's going to have something to go to here. And Pellegrino neck and neck at the moment with Glursen, my apologies. Glursen then in second, just behind Bransdal. Pellegrino really forcing the issue up the hill to make sure that he didn't get into trouble. And everybody skating into this incline just to try and get a bit of speed into the skis. Good work here from Bransdal. Glursen just behind him. Pellegrino just trying to hold off a very serious challenge. Oh, and he's nearly gone. Pellegrino trips and loses 2 positions in the blink of an eye. Real problems for the Italian, and surely can't recover from there. July moves himself into third position, but it's going to be Bransdal, followed by Glursen. July in third place at the moment on 2:20.2. Gros just a couple of hundredths down on that. That is a mighty close finish, and with those fastest loser positions very much to the fore. Opportunities, but for Pellegrino, well, that's real frustration for the Italian, because he's gone so well all day today. And that stumble coming through the tricky area. It's that very unusual start, doesn't he? Pellegrino, almost static left ski that he seems to drag with him to get that extra quick bit of grip and get the speed into the skis, and then he's away. But chose the outside line, got shut out on a number of occasions, and nearly brought Glursen down on that one. And then it was that little nudge on the inside from Gros. Gros clearly feeling that he had the line. And let's be honest, Pellegrino had skied across him just earlier in the piece to find his outside line, so good work from Gros, and if the result stands, then he may be a fastest loser, we will see. But Bransdal and Glursen definitely through. July and Gros are going to have to wait on the second semi-final times. So, interesting opener for the men's semis. First semi-final won by Bransdal and Glursen, so Norway have 2 athletes through, but a time of 2:19.81. Pellegrino, who in the end finished in 6th position, will be kicking himself because he's beaten that time twice already today. Into our next semi-final then, the excitement of watching Finn Hagen Krogh in action once again. Juri Kinci, one of the fastest qualifiers, has got the crowd on side. He goes bib 17. The cowbells making a deafening ding. Great atmosphere here at the stadium in Davos. Alexei Pedjukov goes bib 6 in lane 2. Then it's Kalle Halvarsson, bib 9 for Sweden. Next to him, bib 12, Thomas Northug. Place for Petter today. A lot of big names bailing out in qualification. Olga Vigen, Hadestad then, the Olympic champion, keep resurrecting his form, because it certainly hasn't been going well this season until that quarter-final race when he really picked it up. But Krogh is the man at the moment. He's very, very strong. Let's see if he can deliver in this race. Nearest your camera then, Krogh. Then it's his compatriot just next to him, Hadestad. Can they shut this down, or are they going to have some competition from Northug? The 3 Norwegians moving out towards the front. It's Hadestad that is the 3rd of those, and then just behind them, Pedjukov. And then side by side, 9 and 17, Halvarsson and Kinci. Kinci takes the inside line. That is really tame from Halvarsson. And Halvarsson not pushing at all here at the moment. This is interesting. We'll see if he's okay as this race goes on. Krog has been just unbelievable. When he turns the afterburners on going up that climb, there is not an athlete here in Davos that can touch him. So Krog takes it out, sucking the air in on the descent as they come to this tight right-hander back into the stadium. This is where we're going to see all the thrills and spills come the final if it's tight. Nobody wants to come to grief there on a first lap of a semi. So plenty of separation between the athletes at the moment. Krog from Northug and Hatterstad. So the Norwegians at the moment getting it together, but Alexei Pedjikov's going to make a push here as they come to the finish zone. So Pedjikov for Russia in the number 6 bib. Takes over in second position. Krog, Pedjikov, Northug, Hatterstad. Hatterstad will feel, I'm sure, that he can hold off the challenge of Kinchi. And still nothing from Halvorsen. Frustrating stuff for Kalle. Get himself any sort of zone here in this race as they go on to the descent for the last time. Will we have any drama as we did in semi-final one on the first, and Kinchi moving right onto the skis there of Hatterstad. Hatterstad not liking that one. There's your two fastest losers, Gillet and Grol. They'll be watching this very, very closely. Krog is going to ski this one out. It looks like it's going to be Pedjikov to get a direct place into the final. Just skis across the guard against Northug, getting past him. Halvorsen in the end showing in fourth. So maybe a chance of a fastest loser slot, because that was a very, very quick heat. And Krog has blown them away. And the times of Pellegrino earlier today are a thing of the past now, because Krog 2:16.18 for 1.3k. That is very quick indeed. And that climb, my goodness me, he is flying on the climb, and he is going to be an absolute handful come the final. So waiting for confirmation. I think the two fastest losers will surely come from this heat, and the green lights have just gone on the computer. Thomas, Northug and Kalle Halvorsen. Halvorsen then keeping his powder dry. It was a fall from Kinchi, so we did see a little bit of drama. My eyes on the sprint at the front with Krog just looking so smooth. But all that effort worth it from Northug and Halvorsen in the end. Halvorsen maybe just a little fortunate to see Kinchi go. No contact, it was just a straight fall. That means that our final for the men is Krog and Bransdal, Glorsen, Pedjikov, Halvorsen and Northug. And that Krog-Bransdal shootout is going to be a cracker. Bransdal to add another win to what is a good start to this season, but Krog will fancy his chances, and he looks in superb condition. So very, very enjoyable so far. We have had that little bit of drama on the closing turn that we were, well, hoping for, I guess, from a neutral point of view. You never want to see an athlete go down, but it all adds to the racing and the drama. And Stina Nilsson of Sweden done very well to get herself through to a place in the final. She just jogs through to that start area. The athletes begin their final warm-up. Vala Kaspersen in there as well. 5, Celine Brunli took her time to get through, but finally did. Familiar face of Marit Bjørgen. Continues to be one of the dominant athletes on the circuit, having recovered from that heart problem back in 2012. You just wonder, I think sometimes when an athlete has to sit a season out or 2 seasons out with injury, I just think that fuels the fire again. I think they feel they've been deprived of some good years, and therefore it's almost like they are owed something. So they're going to stay on in the sport and prove themselves, and Bjørgen has done just that, but she's done it in style. My goodness me, she's come back strong. So our final, I think it's all going to come down to, can anyone catch Østberg? Ingvild Flugstad Østberg in bib 1, Marit Bjørgen in bib 2, our 2 top seeds through. And make it 3 with Maiken Kaspersen Falla in bib 3. Stina Nilsson looking good. Bib 7. Celine Brunli, bib 5, and Heidi Weng, another fastest loser, in bib 11. But Österberg surely has the firepower in this race to take it away from everybody. It's going to be fascinating to see what Bjørgen's tactics are, actually. I'm sure she won't want to go out that hard with Österberg, but if she doesn't, then she may not have the clearance that she needs for any last-second attack when we come into the closing stages, especially going through that final turn. The atmosphere building here in Davos as we prepare for the third women's sprint final of the season. And what a final it should be. Still no Keegan Randall, she can't find her form. But Österberg and Bjørgen providing us with the entertainment, as I'm sure they're going to do in this race. From Norway then, bib number 5, Celine Brunli. Next to her, the form woman of today, Ingvild Flugstad Österberg. Bib 3, Maiken Kaspersen Faller. Getting another big response from this crowd. Stina Nilsson from Sweden, bib 7. All smiles at the moment. We'll see. Heidi Weng, how much of an obstacle is Heidi Weng going to be to Marit Bjørgen, who starts in that first lane. Bib 2 then, leading the World Cup sprint. And courtesy of that, where's the bib? The clock ticks down to the start of this third final of the season. Österberg the favourite, Bjørgen the wily fox, and away they go. How hard does Bjørgen want to go? And she's not going to push it. Bjørgen's going to keep it nice and tidy here and just see what she's left with, I think, after the first lap, keeping herself well out of trouble. Österberg diving for the inside line and pushing hard and taking with her Celine Brunli, and Celine Brunli trying to hold off that challenge of Stina Nilsson. And just like in the quarterfinal, Stina Nilsson deciding that she wants to be there in that position, but she's lost a stick, broken a stick, and that is a real shame for Stina Nilsson. She drifts to the back. She's had to replace another one. So the pole's gone for the Swede, and that's put paid surely to her challenge. Bjørgen still keeping herself clear of danger, wide on the outside as Österberg takes this out and continues to set the pace. Österberg then just gliding down that incline and looking very solid indeed. Just behind her is Heidi Weng, fastest qualifier. Weng in the end proved no obstacle to Bjørgen because Bjørgen didn't want a piece of that. She stayed well clear. Stina Nilsson now way at the back as Österberg starts to ramp this up. Now then, little movement at the back as Faller tries to make her way. Bjørgen in 4th position at the moment. Brunli in 3rd. Faller into 2nd position now. It's all Norway at the moment. Just a sea of red in this women's final. But it's Österberg, the athlete, to chase. Now then, into this climb for a 2nd time. And Weng trying to push hard, but it's Faller that looks comfortable in 2nd position. Weng can't get back in touch with them. Bib 5 of Brunli going through the camera just ahead of Marit Bjørgen, and Weng and Nilsson dropping off the pace at the back. This is looking pretty smooth at the moment for Österberg. It's looking like an excellent chance for another good result for Maiken Kaspersen Faller. Nice and wide, nice and tidy off that last turn. It's going to be Österberg to take the win. She's been brilliant all day, and she gets the win here in Davos, just ahead of Maiken Kaspersen Faller, and it's a podium for Celine Brunli. Bjørgen just didn't have the pace to live with it today. Heidi Weng has to settle for 5th, and the very unlucky Stina Nilsson broke a pole, got a replacement, and had to replace that replacement pole, and that was her race done. Well, that's a shame, because she was starting to look very good alongside Brun Lee. Well, smiles all round for the Norwegians. It's been a terrific day for them. It's been a very good day for Ingrid Østberg. Positions 1 to 5 belong to Norway. Justina Nielsen getting herself in to that top 6 from another country. Complete domination of this event by the Norwegians. Well, a slightly forced smile, I would say, from Marit Bjørgen. She won't be happy with her 4th. She's not on the podium. That last sprint win in Lillehammer, win number 84 of her career. Just amazing. But she will know. Can't happen every weekend, but the exuberance of youth. Østberg, just 24 years of age. Former world under-23 skiathlon champion. She's always had the speed. She's put it to very good use today. This is where it all went wrong for Nielsen. Pole came to the side. You saw the end of it just break off. Then got the replacement pole and then came to the bottom of the slope. Clearly it was the wrong replacement and had to pick up another. And Celine Brun Lee, for stages of that race, looked like she might be skied out of it. Came back very strongly indeed, making Kaspersen Fallen. Once she'd seen off the challenge of the rest of the group, she was away and clear, and that decision to go with the pace of Østberg, stay with it as long as she could, has paid off. 2:33.72, that's a good time at the end of a day's racing. But Ingrid Flugstad Østberg has been setting those times all day. And a thoroughly deserved win on a leaderboard that looks almost like a Norwegian Championships. First 5 places taken care of by that nation. So it's an all-red podium once again. Østberg at the top, Faller in second, and Brun Lee just getting past Bjørgen for that 3rd place. So Østberg picks up her first win on what looks like it's going to be a very, very good career. Confirmation of the result. Faller doing well to get into 2nd position, just ahead of Brun Lee, and Brun Lee in turn doing well to hold off the challenge of Marit Bjørgen. Hardy Veng just ahead of Nielsen. Let's hear from the winner then.
Of Norway, your first World Cup victory. You won a tour stage last year, but your first pure World Cup win.
Oh yeah, thanks. That's unbelievable, and I worked really hard for this, and I've been close several times, or a couple of times, and been strong in the qualification and the heats, and today I felt strong the whole way, and it was an incredible feeling to pass the finish line first, so unbelievable day.
Well, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much.
Yes, congratulations indeed, and from us here at Eurosport, that really was an excellent day's racing from Østberg. One of those situations where when you know you're in the zone, when you know you're flying, you've got to make the most of it. I just like the way that she didn't celebrate a single victory in any of the previous stages. She just skied straight out the back, straight into the finish area, and got her mind focused on the next job in hand. And in a field with that much quality and that much experience, Østberg really proving herself. An excellent multi-discipline sportswoman, as indeed many of these cross-country skiers are. Played Division 2 football in Norway at Østberg, but now just has to settle for a bit of summer football. I'm not sure the coaches will be too happy about that, and I'm not sure how long that'll last now that she has proved what a star she can be for the future. And that was a convincing victory. That was a case of, I am so much faster than the rest of you. I'm going to put myself here, and I'll see you guys at the finish line. Great win then for Østberg, the first gold for Norway today, to add to the 2 that they picked up in the 15 and the 10K racing here in Davos already. And they are hot favourites to do it again in the men's final. So finalists just getting themselves ready. Bransdahl comes to this one. Erik Bransdahl, the 28-year-old, as leader of the tour. No Petter Northug. Skied out of it earlier in the piece, so Finn Hagen Krogh with an ideal opportunity to improve his position from third. Jenks moving into the preparation zone just ahead of the gates. I think this is the point when the heart rate must be right up there. Keep yourself calm and focused and not get ahead of yourself. Wait for the race, it'll come to you. Finn Hagen Krogh must be the favourite. Skied beautifully all day, and with the exception of Pellegrino, who went out in the semi-final stage after a stumble, he's been the fastest man by some distance. So Krogh in 3, Erik Bransdahl in bib 5, Anders Glorsen in bib 4. There's bib 6, Alexei Petchikov. Good effort from Petchikov actually in his semi-final. Muscled his way through into a second place. To come through as a fastest loser. That was left to Kalle Halvarsson and Thomas Northug from the same race. Krogh was that quick, just towed everybody with him. The classical music in the background here in Davos, the calm before the storm. It has the makings of a very similar race actually to the women's final. Krogh is going to be as fast as he has been today. It's going to be very difficult for the rest of them to live with him. So the men's final here in Davos for the third World Cup sprint. What is looking like it's going to be a very good and wide open season. In bib 4, in the furthest gate away from the inside, is Anders Glorsen, excellent athlete, alongside another fantastic Norwegian cross-country skier in Erik Bransdahl. A couple of experienced names there. Alexei Petchikov, well, can he be the joker in the pack? Can Petchikov get in amongst it and cause a few problems? He doesn't mind a bit of the physical stuff. Thomas Northug goes in bib 12. Kalle Halvarsson in bib 9. We'll be hoping that there's not another problem for Sweden after that issue for Nielsen in the last race. Really unlucky in the final. But it's the man in the number 3 bib, Finn Hagen Krogh. That's who everybody will be focusing on. Nearest your camera. How hard does Krogh go out? Needs to give himself space on that climb to really let it flow. And away we go in Davos for our last cross-country racing of today. Krogh being given a test here. Halvarsson's clearly made his mind up that he's going to try and get to that hill and just give Krogh an obstacle to ski around. Krogh is absolutely determined that that's not going to happen, and look at him go. Finn Hagen with a real push into this first right-hander. It's the course of the right-handers today, because this is the one just ahead of the climb. Now watch Krogh go. This is when he puts it into the next gear and really drives. And he's galloping away from the field. Halvarsson doing his best to stay with this one. The red bib of Erik Bransdahl, the sprint leader, in third position at the moment. Norway, Sweden, Norway, and Krogh has absolutely destroyed the field in the first 300 metres or so. Into the tight right-hander that sets up the finish straight. Very carefully round it, Krogh and Halvarsson, both men trying to be careful. Then they duck off to the right to take them past the finish line. They'll go left when they come round on this second lap. And Krogh looking quite superb here in Davos. Nobody to touch him at the moment. And carrying so much speed in the skis, he can afford to take a pretty circumspect line on that last turn. It's all good at the moment for Finn Hagen. Not so good for Halvarsson. He's being tracked down. And it's Petchikov getting himself in amongst it. So Petchikov pushing hard on the back of the Halvarsson skis. Krogh, a little stumble at the top there. Not quite as quick up that climb as he has been. Bransdal once again installing himself in second position, just ahead of Glursen. Pechikov off the back. Halvorsen has given way too much in that first lap, and he looks like he's gassed. Krog just trying to leave a little bit in reserve. Slightly tighter line than he would have liked to have taken there. Oh, and trouble for Bransdal. Skis rounded on one, and that's opened the door for Glursen, but it's going to be Krog all the way. Superb performance from Krog. Superb performance once again from Norway. It's a clean sweep in the sprints here in Davos. Glursen followed by Bransdal, who tottered around that last right-hander, and in the end completed it on just a single ski. Superb balance from the sprint leader, but he will not be happy because it cost him a second place. Nobody though today was going to touch the man in the number 3 bib, and Finn Hagen Krog, hotly tipped as the future for Norwegian cross-country skiing, goes and takes the plaudits that he deserves. That's a superb day's racing for him. And what a day for the youngsters to come through. What a stage for them to come through. Halvorsen gave it his best shot to stay with Krog, but he was finished. A good 300, 400 metres for the line. He had nothing left, and Krog had absolutely burnt him and the rest of the field off. And a quick check there with Glursen, just to say, look, I know I've won it, but where did you finish? The 2 fingers raised, not inappropriately, of course, to indicate second position for Anders, and Erik Bransdal in third. Well, we did have a little bit of drama, but it did go in a very similar way to the women's, and Østberg in such good form in that race, just like Krog, took it out from the front. And once that initial battle for the first climb was concluded, then Krog had all the space that he needed here in Switzerland to make this count. Halvorsen, brave effort in second, stayed with him as long as he could, but it absolutely killed him. Bransdal positioned himself well, knew it wasn't going to be the win, but was looking for those big points for second place. And this is where it all went wrong for Bransdal, skidding and skidding, and had to get round on just a single ski in the end. It was that last movement that nearly finished him off. Balanced on the left ski and just couldn't quite get the power down in time to catch Glursen, but he got it down in time to hold off the challenge of the Russian Alexei Pechikov. But it's all about Finn Hagen Krog today. Great effort from him. He adds to his win tally, takes him to 3 wins, 7 podiums. That's a 4th in Ruka, 3rd in Lillehammer, 1st in Davos. Just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it, for the youngster? And maturing into a very good athlete indeed. 2:18.16, not the fastest time of the day by any means, and he did look just a little tired on that last climb, but there was nobody going to touch Krog today as he picks up his 3rd World Cup victory. Well, a really enjoyable programme of races. We're going to try and hang on to hear from Krog. Hagen Krog, marvellous victory today. We heard how delighted Østberg was. I'm sure we're going to hear equal delight from Finn Hagen Krog, because in this sort of company, this is tough. Not Bransdal's day today, I'm afraid. The man in the red bib should still be there, I think. We go to the final standings. So off comes the tech equipment for Bransdal. But let's hear from
we saw
Finn
your teammate
Hagen
in the
Krog.
women's race get her first World Cup win. Just like you had a tour stage win before, but now you have your first pure World Cup win.
Yeah, that's something different. That's what you're chasing every season. So finally to get it feels really good.
And from the gun today, you just went for it. Was that the plan?
Yeah, the shape has been good for a couple of weeks now. So I was really determined that today I was going to win. So I just went for it and hold all the way.
Congratulations on a great victory.
Thank you.
So first pure World Cup sprint win for Finn Hagen Krog, and he just had that kind of assurance about him that we saw from Østberg earlier today. Looked like he knew there was a job to be done, there was a win to be had, and he's taken it very nicely indeed. So Krog first, Glursen second, Bransdal in 3rd, and that confirms another fantastic day for Norway. A clean sweep for Norway across the 10, the 15k in terms of the wins, but a clean sweep in terms of the podium here in both sprint races. All 6 of those podium positions going the way of Norway. So tremendous.